Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 11th of June 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's afternoon session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few of the charts that we looked at previously, of course, and some new ones. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here is the DAX30, so the German index. So a while ago, or to be more precise, last week, I've talked about this one. And basically I was telling you to keep a close eye on this upside support line taken from the lows of December last year. So in a way, what I was saying, that yes, it was traveling higher, but for us, just for that better confirmation of the upside, we would ideally like to see a nice good push back above this upside support line and above this key area of resistance near the 12,175 zone. So as you can see, today we're having a strong push higher, and yep, it is breaking it, breaking that area, and seems to be willing to stay here. So let's see if it actually does by the end of the day today, by the end of the trading session. But for now, the technical picture here seems to be quite positive. The next target for us here is going to be this area around the 12,310 zone, approximately there, near the highs of the 16th of May. So we're going to keep a close eye on it. This is probably the area where maybe the price could get held, could stall. Maybe we could see this one retracing back down a little bit, something like this. But if it continues to trade above the aforementioned upside support line, then yep, we will target higher areas in the near term. Maybe even actually we'll see this one traveling all the way back to what the high of the beginning of May, which was around the 12,435 area, approximately there, and then we'll take it from there, see what it wants to do. For now, we're going to keep it short and simple. Yes, we are targeting slightly higher areas, one of which is the 12,310 zone. That's what we're going to be aiming for right now. So keep your eyes on this one. If this suddenly drops back below this upside support line and let's say closes below the 12,175, still there could be a small chance left for the bulls to step in, because we do have this little tentative upside line here drawn from the lows of May here, the lows of the 3rd of June here, and we could maybe see this one kind of holding the price from dropping lower. So in a way, this could be that last resort for the buyers to step in again. But for now, that's the main scenario that we're keeping a close eye on. Yes, we are aiming for slightly higher levels, but at some point here we may see a bit of correction, and if this upside support line holds, then yep, further moves higher could be possible. Similar story with CAC40. Just a quick update on this one, because it's kind of currently working out nicely with our scenario here that we've posted a while ago, or to be more specific, on June 7th, where we've kind of identified a potential trade idea here. So basically it pushed above one of our key resistance levels, and now as you can see, it's kind of aiming higher. It's not far from our target, which is around the 5,450 level. So we're going to aim for that for now, and then we'll see what it wants to do. Maybe we'll retrace a little bit to the downside. If it does, then we'll see how big of a retracement that could be. But for now it's not far from the from our target at 5,450. Let's see if actually it reaches that. But for now, we are more positive than negative. So keep your eyes on this one. DXY, very quickly on this one. I talked about DXY yesterday and my trader's tea time as well, and basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this little short-term, in a way, tentative downside resistance line taken from the high of the 30th of May. And as you can see, just recently we did have a nice push above it, but you can see that the bears are kicking in again here and jumping in and pushing this one back down. So in a way, if this starts falling below the 96.75 level, then yep, we could see a push further down towards the 96.45, which acted as a very good area of support here back on last week. So basically near the lowest point of last week. Good potential support zone. Let's see how this is going to play out. For now, we're not going to kind of, let's say, over speculate on this one because we will keep a close eye and see how this 4-hour candle is going to close, because if it stays below this downside resistance line, yes, this increases the chances for a further slide here, and this is where we will target this the low of last week near the 96.45. but if it suddenly, let's say, again reverses back up here and let's say ideally and pushes above the 96.92 level, then well, this is where we will aim for higher levels, slightly higher levels. Of course, we're not going to go too much higher. We'll just aim for the 97.18 or the 97.37, which marks the high of the 5th of June. And also, by the way, if let's say this travels higher, by the time, let's say, it could reach the 97.37 level, it would probably coincide with the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. But for now, this is just it's just speculation. Let's see how this is going to end, how this 4-hour candle is going to end, and where is it going to end. If it's going to stay below this downside resistance line, then well, like I said, it increases the chances for a further slide to the lows of last week. But if it stays above this downside resistance line and we see this one pushing above the 96.92 level, then yep, we will aim for a little bit higher. GBPNZD, now a very interesting pair here. Also something that we have thrown out here on our trading view account, and as you can see here, so what we were saying, we were waiting for that confirmation break above that level here, and let me just show you. So we were waiting a clear move above it, above this 1.9255 level, and as you can see, we did have a nice push here to the upside. It broke it nicely to the upside, and now it's kind of aiming towards slightly higher levels. There was a point where you can see that it did travel. It tried to push higher, but kind of quickly failed. But also, what I was mentioning in one of my videos, in one of my previous videos, where I talked about GBPNZD and also actually Euro Aussie and GBP Aussie, basically the pair was in this falling wedge formation, and as you can see, it's kind of working out nicely according to the textbook. Basically, these types of formations tend to break to the upside, but we needed that nice good confirmation break above the 1.9255 before kind of aiming further up. For now, it is trying to push higher. Let's see if it actually reaches the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. This could be a nice good potential target. Of course, our aim is near the 1.9490, which could play out nicely. But for now, guys, we're going to keep it very short and simple. For now, we're just going to target the 200 EMA, and then we'll see if it actually reaches this area or not. For now, yep, it is looking more positive. The pound seems to be kind of gaining some momentum again, buying momentum. But again, let's see how long will that last. USDJPY, very quickly on this one. So I've talked about this one previously, and basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this downside resistance line, short term, of course, short-term downside resistance line taken from the high of the 21st of May, and as you can see, the pair is trying to climb higher. It's still it's quite not far, let's say, from this downside resistance line, from testing this downside resistance line. Of course, it will be very interesting to see if it actually manages to reach this area, and if it fails to drive above this downside line, then we could see another leg of selling here, potentially pushing this pair back down towards the lows of the first days of June here, near the 107.85 and 75 levels. So for now, we are going to aim for a little bit higher here. Just like I said, up until we see a test of this downside resistance line. Of course, if it breaks and we see the rate climbing above the 109 zone, then yep, we will aim for slightly higher levels, maybe like the 100 initially, of course, the 109.20, but then we'll have the 200 EMA here as well. And if all these kind of are seen as temporary obstacles for USDJPY, then the next next target for us is going to be around the 109.95, or in a way you could round it up towards the psychological 110 level. For now, it is sitting still below this downside resistance line, so of course there is more chance for this one to shift to the downside, but again, let's not over speculate. For now, if we see this one climbing higher towards this downside resistance line, keep your eyes on this one. In case this decides not to climb to the downside resistance line, watch out for this little support zone here near the 108.30, approximately there, 30.29, something like that. A drop below this could potentially signal a nice kind of entry point here for the bears, who could then drive towards these levels that I've just mentioned before, the levels of the first days of June near the 107.85 and 75. So for now, be very careful here, guys. Like I said, keep your eyes on some of these levels that I've just mentioned, and let's see how this is going to play out. Euro dollar, now this one is a bit of a mess here, a bit of a roller coaster ride today. So in a way, you can see that it did travel lower, it pushed to the downside, almost managed to reach this upside support line, or actually let me just adjust this a little bit, almost managed to reach this upside support line, and then kind of reversed and pushed higher again, pushed back above its pivot. So still, that said, for us to get comfortable with higher levels, ideally we would like to see a nice good push above the 1.1348 here, marked by the high of last week, and this way this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could then maybe target the area around the 1.1390. And just to kind of show you what that level was here in the past, the 1.1390 acted as a good area of support, of resistance near the high of the 22nd of March. So good potential target, but we need that confirmation break here above the 1.1348 first. In terms of the downside, a drop below the 1.2890 could potentially signal some selling activity here. We could maybe see this one sliding a little bit lower. Initially, of course, we'll aim for the 1.1250, but if that fails to withhold, the next area could be around the 200 EMA or the 1.1215, so keep your eyes on that one. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on, and I talked about this one in my last few videos. So of course this morning I talked about this one as well. So this is what I was saying, that continue observing this this level here. Basically what I meant here is that we could potentially see a nice range forming here between the levels, roughly between the 1.6065 and the 1.6280. You can see that the pair Euro Aussie struggled to overcome this 1.6280. Ideally, we need to see a nice good close, at least of the 4-hour candle above this level, before aiming for further upside. For now, it's for the third time it kind of struggled to close the 4-hour candle. Of course, the day is not finished. Let's see how this is going to continue. But if this, let's say, suddenly drops back below the 1.6245 level, and we see a nice good close of the 4-hour candle below this, then, well, I mean, we could see this one sliding a little bit to the downside here, at least towards a few of these EMAs, and in a way, this is, like I said, this is when we will start considering a possible range here, but for now it's not confirmed yet. Let's see if it actually drops below the 1.6245. If it does, then yep, we could see this one, like I said, ranging here for a while. Okay guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching it till the end. If you want to join me tomorrow morning in my Trader's Espresso, as always, that's 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, I hope you have a beautiful evening, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.